Welcome back to another video, guys. So today I want to discuss a video that Steel City Interactive released a while back. I don't know if you guys can remember, but it is called Character Creator. And in that video, they discussed 6 things that they wanted us to know that will be in the game. And so I want to kind of discuss those 6 things that they talked about, and I want to give you guys my input on those things. So the first thing that they talked about is how there will be licensed music in the game. However, when this was said, they were more so talking about the ring walk music, which I'm absolutely excited about. Don't get me wrong, but I would love for there to be licensed music when it comes to the main menu, because I am not, now this is just my opinion, but I am not a fan at all of generic tracks, because for me, I can't get immersed into the game with generic tracks. And I feel like when you have licensed music, you're kind of vibing to the music, and it just allows for an overall immersive experience. But I feel like when you have those generic tracks, you kind of feel like you're playing an arcade game, which is great if you are playing an arcade game. But when you're talking about like a real simulation based game, it's preferable to have licensed music. And that's all I have to say about that. Now, the second point that they made was the fact that there will be presets with modifications. So whether you're working on the head, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the body type, let's just say for those, there will be like, let's just say 10 to 12 different presets for the type of specific body part. So okay, let me just break it down this way. Let's just say for the nose, right? You can choose 5 presets. So the nose will look a certain way depending on the preset that you choose. Well, you can click on that preset, and within that, you will get a bunch of different sliders which you can kind of tune and adjust to make your fighter look more dynamic. And I think that is great. So that way, each time you have a playthrough on career mode, you're not creating the same looking fighter. Because in Fight Night Champion, I kind of ran into that issue because I replayed Fight Night Champion's Legacy mode a lot of times, and every time I created my character, which I did take my time on, the character still somehow in a very odd looking way came out looking the same. And I didn't really enjoy that about Fight Night Champion. But again, that game came out a long time ago, so I'll give it the benefit of the doubt for what it was. But I'm expecting a lot with ESBC. Okay, but that is it for that. Now, the third thing that they talked about was the fact that Character Creator, yes, the Creative Fighter mode, will be a part of early access. So a lot of you guys that will be participating in the early access release, well, you have a reason to be excited, because you will get to show us fans what the Character Creator is all about and the different things that you can do within that mode. Me, I would not be participating in early access because I'm the type of person, I'm not into that early access stuff. I'm not into playing betas. I want to play the game upon full release. I want all of the glitches gone, all of that. I don't want to have to deal with any glitches or mishaps during the early access game. And I know early access is very important for Steel City Interactive because they can kind of gauge the bugs that happen during the game. Because essentially it's a live test, but I don't have any reason for wanting to participate in that. I'm just waiting for the game to actually release. Okay, so that's my input on that third thing. So the fourth thing is that when you're creating your character, there will be different skin textures. So of course, depending on the nationality you choose, that will determine the color of your fighter. Now, with that being said, let's just say you choose a Caucasian fighter. Okay, well, the skin will obviously be white. However, ESBC has made it to where the skin won't be all one color, if that makes sense. The arms may be darker than the chest. The legs may be lighter than the arms. Because what they're trying to do is replicate how our skin is in real life. Because, in real life, our skin is lighter in some areas and darker in some areas. And that usually happens because, of course, we wear clothing. And so when we wear clothing and we're out in the sun and we're exposed to the sun, the light, it will darken the areas that are exposed, but the parts that haven't been exposed to the sun will stay the same color. And that's why those areas that haven't been exposed to the sun seem lighter than the areas of the body that have been exposed to the sun. I don't know if that makes sense, but I really like that because that really makes for a more dynamic character. They don't just look like a glob of silicone. All right, but that's all I have to say about that. There's nothing pretty much more that I want to talk about concerning skin textures. However, this next point, they talked about how there will be major glove manufacturers in this game. So there will be many brand of gloves that we all love and know. They will be in the game, such as Cleto Rays. Now, this take this list with a grain of salt. I'm just kind of putting it out there that these are the brands that we may see: Cleto Rays, Everlast, Rival, Title, Venom, Grant, Winning. These are all the types of gloves that we may potentially see in the game, as well as the fact, not as well as the fact, but as well as with the shoes, because they talked about the shoes as well as how there will also be major shoe manufacturers in this game. So, probably, Nike, Reebok. I would love to see Under Armour in the game. I am a huge Under Armour fan. I wear Under Armour in real life. That is like all I wear because I work out a lot. I love Under Armour. Their clothes seem to fit me the best. So it'll definitely be nice to see that in the game. Now, for both the gloves as well as the shoes, they talked about how these manufacturers are going to design a lot of gloves and a lot of the shoes specifically for ESBC. So guys, if you see a certain set of gloves, you're like, damn, those gloves look awesome, or damn, those shoes look awesome. Do not try to go on Google and try to see if you can find these gloves in real life to buy, because these are going to be a line of gloves and a line of shoes that are created specifically for ESBC. So I'm definitely excited about that. I'm really excited about that. So no more generic gloves. I'm sure there's going to be an ESBC brand, just like how in Fight Night there was an EA brand. But for the most part, we can look forward to seeing a lot of different brand gloves in the game. So that's great, and that also attributes to a more immersive experience. So the last thing, and probably the most exciting thing for me on this list, is they introduce Fighter Share, and this is basically a mode where you can create a fighter and upload the fighter online for other people to use. And I know some people who get a high off of just creating characters just to share with others. They may not even fight with the person they created, but they just like creating stuff. So for people that like to do that, who have a fascination with seeing how many different looking fighters they can create, well, Fighter Share is going to be for you. Now, personally, when I get the game, I am going to create my own fighter at first, but when I play my second playthrough, I may use Fighter Share to choose a fighter that someone else has created, because the second time around, I'm just not as enthusiastic, so I'll probably end up choosing a fighter that someone has already made. But the first time around, you better believe full blown character creation for me. But the fact that they're going to have fighter share is absolutely awesome. I think it's actually really cool. So yeah, man, that's pretty much it for those 6 main points that they talked about in that video. And I recommend that you guys go look at the video yourself. I'll have a link in the description to that video, that Steel City Interactive release. And, let me know your thoughts on these things that we talked about, because, that is actually very major things that we learned. So, that's pretty much it, guys. I don't want to make this video longer than it should be. The next video, I'm going to probably talk about the loose footwork, because I got a couple of things that I want to talk about concerning the loose footwork, and I want to compare it to fighters in real life, so you guys can understand just how realistic ESBC is, how much of a deep simulation that we are going to be getting. So that's it for you guys, and I will see you in the next video.